Hey guys, Jeff Tech here. So I wanted to do another video for you. This one on the Taurus tracker model 627. This is in 357 and 38 special. Obviously it'll do plus P as well. So this is the stainless version of their one of their revolver lines. This is the 7-shot 357. This has the 4-inch barrel. It's ported. You can see it there. It's got 4 little channels on either side. And what that does is it helps bleed off some of the gases as the bullets leave in the barrel. And what you get on a high power bullet or a high power round like a 357 is you can get some muzzle rise as you're shooting. And what that bleeding of the gases does is it helps keep the muzzle down by forcing some of those gases out the top of the barrel. And I'll roll some video in here. You can see it's a little bit darker in this room where I'm shooting, but you see some of the gases being bled off, and it becomes highly visible when you see it in this lower light as the flame and gases are shooting out the top of the barrel. So you can see that here. So just wanted to cover this pistol real quick, kind of give you my impressions of it, tell you what I think of it. So my relationship with revolvers goes back to the very beginning in firearms. When I was prior to my current career field, getting into law enforcement, the law enforcement academy that I was in taught us on 38 pistols, or 38 revolvers. So I had a 38, I had a Smith & Wesson 686 that I sold around the time that all of the, there was a lot of development in the semi-auto field after the Brady ban was lifted. You started to see capacities increase, and the need for a 6-shot revolver just became antiquated thinking. So I sold that pistol at that time. I've gone through several iterations of pistols in my lifetime since then, and I started to have an affection for the nostalgia of owning a revolver again. So I was in the market, I was looking around, and I came across this guy used. Picked it up for about half of MSRP. So when I saw that, I was like, well, I'll go ahead and try it out. Now, this isn't just 38, like I mentioned, this does do 357 as well. So anybody who's ever shot 357 knows it's got quite a bit of a kick, but it's also a little bit more expensive. Whereas 38's a much tamer round. So if you're at the range, target shooting, 38 is a pretty pleasurable round to run through a 357. Now, I will say this pistol having the ported barrel here, it does impact the felt recoil on 38 to almost nothing. I mean, it was very pleasant to shoot. Now, one thing I'll point out, this is a double action, single action, as you can see here. So that's a very easy trigger pull. By the way, this I think I've already shown you, but just to reiterate, it is empty. So it has a super long trigger pull, but it is pretty smooth. Now, I would imagine that over time that'll lighten up a little bit and smoothen out even more. But for right now, that's a pretty good trigger pull. It is heavy though, so I don't know. I would say it's probably in the 8 to 10 pound range. I don't have a trigger gauge, so I couldn't tell you exactly, but it does feel pretty heavy. But you want that on a double action pistol. You don't want a super easy trigger pull. These do have the what do they call it, like a firing pin block safety something or other. And the reason for that is if you have it like this and you drop it and something hits that firing pin, it's supposed to prevent it from going off because there's really nothing blocking it. So this little bar comes up, blocks the firing pin, and therefore you can't accidentally hit the firing pin. So that's a bit of a safety mechanism, but it's really, in the grand scheme of things, it's not like a semi-auto that has a safety. This This is a pull the trigger, it goes bang every time. Now that goes into the philosophy of why I like, you know, exposed hammers on guns, and part of that goes back to my my learning and growth in firearms on an exposed hammer revolver like this one here. So a couple other things I wanted to cover is front sight with an adjustable rear sight. There it is, adjustable rear sight. It's adjustable for windage and elevation. So the grip that comes with it, it comes with something called, the grips are called Ribber, R-I-B-B-E-R. So they just cover in the specs real quick. This is a 28.8 ounce revolver. It's a compact frame. It's 1.5 inches wide. It's double action, single action. It's got 6 grooves with a 1 in 16 twist ratio. Sorry, 1 in 16 and a half twist. And the MSRP on this is $709. So I just, you know, kind of cover that real quick. But the very first thing that I did when I got this is I got rid of those cheesy grips that they had. You know, a lot of people like those grips, but me personally, I'm not a fan of them. And the reason being is, you know, I've got medium-sized hands, and I was having problems with that grip reaching the trigger. Now I could go out and get, you know, some kind of custom grip made, but these Hogue grips that they make for the 627, they're really comfortable, you know, and they fit. Your hand just kind of, you know, molds right into it, and it does reduce the trigger reach a little bit, so that does help as well. If you're a medium-sized hand shooter and you're looking for something a little, you know, bring your trigger finger a little closer to the trigger, you might want to consider these Hogue grips. Now there's other grips out there. I think Packmeyer makes a set of grips for this as well that people with larger hands seem to value and appreciate. But for me, the Hogue grips were all I needed. Takedown on this and cleaning, you know, I did get this used. So first thing I did with it when I got it home was take it down and clean it. And it was exactly the way you clean a Smith & Wesson 686. You remove this screw right here, pull that out, and then you open up the cylinder here, and the cylinder just comes sliding out of this little channel right here. And then you can, you know, manipulate the where the cartridges go and simply clean it with no problem at all. Anyway, that's it, guys. It's an inexpensive revolver patterned after Smith & Wesson's line of revolvers. Smith & Wesson makes really good revolvers. I've owned a couple of them in my life, but Taurus also makes very good, high quality. I won't say copies, but they are very similar in style and design to the Smith & Wesson. I believe they shared a lot of the design characteristics, but you can go research that on your own. I know that there was some cross-pollination between the two manufacturers, and a lot of Smith & Wesson's designs are being replicated by Taurus. But at any rate, that's not for me to cover in this video, but it is out there for you to research if that's of interest to you. As far as the Taurus line of revolvers go, I've always found them to be high quality, good, reliable pistols. And if that's something you're looking for, you will find a good shooter in the Taurus Tracker. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed yet, now more than ever, that really means something to small creators like myself. And share it with your friends. That's it, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.